We've talked about converting in units in the US system and converting in units in the SI system. But we also need to convert between the two systems since they're both commonly used. And for that, you can see I have this table of commonly used conversions for length, area, volume, mass, and liquid capacity. And note in all of these things that I have this wavy symbol here used instead of the equal sign, because this symbol means approximately equal. It's not going to be exactly equal to. They're always going to be approximately equal to. So that's what you should be using in your conversions. But as long as you're stating what you're rounding to, you can use the equal sign. So to talk about comparisons, since in the US, right, we're more used to the US system, we can actually use some best estimates for different quantities here and talk about how they compare. So what's the best estimate for a capacity of bottle of olive oil? Well, if you go to the store and buy olive oil, you'll see it's somewhere around 16 ounces, like a pint. You can also get a quart, 32. You can even get a half gallon, which would be 64 ounces, somewhere in this range. There's different sizes, of course, but somewhere around there. Let's just go with 32 ounces. Now we can convert between 32 ounces and liters by looking over here. We have 1 fluid ounce, which is the same thing as what this would be, is 29.574. I'm just going to round this up to 30 since I'm doing approximations anyway. No reason to make it harder than it needs to be. So 1 fluid ounce is just about 30 milliliters, and we have 32 fluid ounces. So 32 fluid ounces times approximately equal to 1 ounce is 30 milliliters. And so you can see I have 32 times 30. That's going to be 960 milliliters when you multiply that out. And 960 milliliters, right? This is close to 500 milliliters. That's probably going to be closer to a 16-ounce bottle, but that's fine. 500 liters, however, is way, way, way bigger, right? We're talking about milliliters. This is the same thing as approximately 1 liter, right? This is equal to 0.960 liters. 500 liters is 500 times that? No, that's way too big. So 500 liters doesn't make sense. Now, these ones are a little bit more interesting because these are mass measurements. And for this one, you have to actually weigh the quantity of olive oil you're talking about. You can actually also look up a conversion between mass and volume, and that would be what a density is. So if you knew the density of olive oil, and that's going to depend upon the olive oil you're talking about, but if you knew that, you could convert between volume and mass very easily. And looking that up, you can find that olive oil is around 0.917 kilograms per liter. So you can think of this as 0.917 kilograms per 1 liter. That's the density of olive oil. So we can convert from liters to kilograms, right? We can actually do 0.960 liters and use this conversion here, which is going to be 1 liter, 0.917 kilograms. Those cancel. And we're going to get 0.88, just approximately around there, kilograms of olive oil. And this, of course, is the same thing as there are 1,000 grams per kilogram. You just multiply this by 1,000, move the decimal point over 3 spaces. It's going to be 880 grams. So 500 grams is, again, fairly close to this. 500 milligrams, however, if you move this over 3 more spaces, you're going to get milligrams, and it's going to be 880,000 milligrams. So no, this is way too small for a measurement. Okay, which is the closest to the length of a newborn baby? And a baby, right, is about maybe a foot long when they're born. And we can see that there are 1 inch is approximately 2.54 centimeters. You can also see that 1 meter is about 3.3 feet. 1 meter is about, just a little bit above a yard, things like that. Let's just assume that a newborn baby is about a foot long. So we want to have a foot is 12 inches. So 12 inches times 2.54 centimeters to 1 inch. Inches cancel. And we get approximately, I should be using approximately here. Same thing with the previous one, but 30.48 centimeters long. So that's the approximate length of a baby is 30.48 centimeters. So 50 centimeters is close to that. So we'll say 50 centimeters. Now 50 millimeters, if I go smaller, right? I'm gonna go 1 unit smaller to millimeters. That means this is going to be equal to 304.8 millimeters. So 50 millimeters is way too small, right? A baby is approximately 300 millimeters. 50 millimeters is way too small. Now 50 decimeters. If we're going to convert this to a decimeter, I'm going to move it to one space bigger, right? A decimeter is bigger than a centimeter. So I'm going to move it this way instead of going to a millimeter. So this is the same thing as 3.048 decimeters. And 50 decimeters is way too big. Well, this would be what, 500 centimeters? 30 centimeters is the length of a baby. 500 centimeters, that's going to be what, 30 through 10, 12 times as big? No, the baby's not 12 feet. That's way too large. And 50 meters is even bigger than 50 decimeters. So that's going to be even larger and therefore not reasonable. So 50 centimeters is the closest measurement to a newborn baby. Okay, which measurement is closest to the weight of a penny? Now, I don't know how much a penny weighs, but it's not a whole lot. And I can see here that the weight here is that 1 kilogram is approximately 2.2 pounds. 2.5 kilograms, well, if each one of those is 2.2 pounds, that means you're going to do 2.5 times 2.2. That's going to be about 5 pounds, right? This is way too big. A penny doesn't weigh 5 pounds. Now, 1 ounce is 28.35 grams, and we have 2.5 grams here. 1 ounce is a 16th of a pound, and it's not that big, right? A penny isn't 1/16 of a pound, but it's kind of closer to that. It's not really close to that, but it's closer to that. And we have 2.5 grams, right? 2.5 grams. There's going to be 1 ounce for 28.35 grams. That's going to give us 2.5 divided by 28.35. I should do approximately here. 0.0882 ounces. And that to me seems reasonable for the weight of a penny. So if this is reasonable, then that means 2.5 milligrams, which is 1,000 times smaller than this, is way too small. So now let's just take some general conversions. 5 milliliters to cups. If you look at liquid capacity, there are 8 ounces equals 1 cup. And I can convert ounces to milliliters. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to convert milliliters to ounces and then ounces to cups. And that will give me to what I want. So 5 milliliters. There was 29.574 milliliters. To 1 fluid ounce. So milliliters cancel. And then there are 8 ounces to 1 cup. And the ounces cancel. We are left with cups. And then we're going to get 5 divided by 29.574 times by 8 there. So a very small amount. It's going to be 0.0 0 to 1. I'll just round it to that place there. So this should be approximately equal to. Very small amount. Okay, 2 liters equals how many quarts? Well, if I go back to liquid capacity, I have 1 liter is approximately 1.057 quarts. So 2 liters times, let's see, it said 1 liter is approximately 1.057 quarts. So 1 liter is just slightly bigger than a quart. And that's going to give me 2 times that. $2.114. That's the approximation of quarts. Okay, 5K or 5 kilometer race is how many miles? So if I go up here, I can see that I have 1 mile is 1.6093 kilometers. A mile is about 1.5 times as big as a kilometer, approximately 1.6093. So 5 kilometers. There are 1.6093 kilometers in 1 mile. Kilometers cancel. And we get, say approximately here again, 3.12 miles. We're rounded to 2 places. That's how many miles. Okay, how many yards long is 3 meters of wrapping paper? So 3 meters. I want to convert meters to yards. So there are 1.094 yards approximately to 1 meter. 0.094. Meters cancel. And I get approximately equal to 3.282 yards. Okay, George rode his bike at 30 kilometers per hour. What is the speed in miles per hour? Well, if we have 30 kilometers per hour, that's the same thing as 30 kilometers per 1 hour. I need to convert kilometers to miles. And I have the approximation actually right here. It's approximately 1.6093 kilometers per 1 mile. Kilometers cancel, I have miles there on top. And so this is approximately equal to, well, if I do 30 on top, 30 miles over 1.6093 hours. So I'm just going to leave hours there. I'm not going to change it because I want miles per hour. Per means divided by. Kilometers per hour is kilometers divided by hours. Miles per hour, miles divided by hours. Now I'm just going to actually get the number. So 30 divided by 1.6093. That gives me 18 points. So I'm going to round this to 2 places. 64 miles per hour. Miles per hour is a bigger unit of measurement because there's less of them for the same amount of kilometers per hour. Okay, a short course meter pool is 25 meters long. A short course yard pool is 25 yards long. Which is longer and by how many feet? Well, we already know that a meter is slightly bigger than a yard, so we know that the 25 meters is going to be longer. We can find this, this one's easy, right? Because 25 yards, there's 3 feet per yard, so that means this is going to be 75 feet. But we can convert meters to yards and then yards to feet. So 25 meters is approximately equal to 1 meter, 1.094 yards. And there are 3 feet to 1 yard. Yards cancel, meters cancel. And that gives us approximately equal to, should do that, approximately 82.05 feet. So yeah, definitely the meters is longer than the yards. Okay, at its closest distance, the moon is 225,622 miles from Earth. The circumference of Earth is about 24,901 miles. How many times do you need to travel around the Earth, so along the circumference, to travel the same distance as the shortest distance, this distance here, to the moon? So this is the distance we need to travel. And we can think of this, the circumference of the Earth is about this. We can think of this as a unit conversion between miles and the number of circumferences that we have traveled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this unit down. I'm going to convert this number and then write the, there's 24,901 miles per one circumferences. So that's the way I'm going to write this. The miles will end up canceling, and you're going to see we're going to be left with circumferences. So if we make that equal to each other, you can see that we're just going to divide those numbers together. And I get approximately, I should say, 9.06 circumferences. So in other words, you're going to have to travel around the Earth not a little bit more than 9 times along the circumference to travel the same distance as it is from the Earth to the moon on its closest distance. The moon does get further away than this, but that's the closest point that it is. You can also think of this, instead of just using like a unit conversion here, you can just add like, we're going to ask how many times does this go into here? That's what division does. So we're just going to be dividing those two numbers, and that will give you your answer. So either way you want to think about it, that's the way that works. Okay, finally we have an exchange rate. Exchange rates are really just unit conversions between one currency to another currency. And so suppose that the South African rand and to the US dollars is this exchange rate, 1 rand to $0.1125. How many dollars then is 7,324 rands? So 7,342 rands. I want to get rid of rands, so I have 1 rand on the bottom. And I want dollars instead. 0.1125. Rands cancel. And you can see we're just going to multiply straight across the numerators. That's going to give me $825 and rounding to 98 cents. So still works just like a unit conversion. In fact, there's many things that work like a unit conversion if you model it that way.